Welcome back to the Bitter Betty podcast. I'm Bitter Betty Deadhead here with my two cohorts.
Bitter Betty Tova.
And Bitter Betty Carroll, and that's with an E.
We're back with part three of the money game. This has been highly requested, and we've been actually
Mm-hmm.
anxious to hear this one because we have seen the other two, which will be linked and then at the end of the video or somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll put it in there somewhere.
It's gonna be somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyways, you ladies ready for this?
Oh, take me on a journey, Ren.
Let's go.
He's good with his hands.
And with no, can't even see it. Just
Dang.
At least there's no pig masks.
Oh, God, I know, right? Dang.
Good in a suit too.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns that truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32.
I would say definitely pause it for a minute. For one, I didn't realize this was this long.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Oh my gosh. This is a
it's
9-minute song?
Yeah, and we've already been going for like 4 minutes.
4 minutes with no
Like-
hook. I like just the bars.
Well, not only that, but like I was listening so intently that I realized that we hadn't even paused at all.
Yeah.
It's.
The
I feel like it's one of those
storytelling.
songs that it's hard to pause on because it's a story and you don't want to like
Yes.
Miss
break
it.
up the story.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I have the lyrics pulled up, so I'm
So
following
do I.
along. And I'm trying to balance between that and the
understand.
video, but yeah, I
Yeah.
figure out what he's saying. Like, and it's crazy to see, like, you know, it's like we were talking about in the other video, the system. You know, it's like when he's talking to the baby in the crib, that's literally what this is, right? Like,
Yeah,
us
I was
from a
thinking
baby,
that.
he's been groomed
Mm-hmm.
to be where he is. His choices were not entirely his own. You know what I mean? Like his father was setting
Yes.
him up through all this thing, and one thing led to another, like a domino effect.
Right.
You know?
That's what I say. Like it was like basically like the parenting, right? Like you're gonna be this way, right? You're gonna do
Yeah.
as you're told, and you're gonna be the best.
Mhm.
and it's
regardless.
ironic that like
Mhm.
the more successful he became with each step of success, it got a little darker. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
and if you
could
notice,
see
too,
where the where we're
each
going wrong.
time, not to interrupt you, but each time, right? We're talking about like dad says do this, so he does this, and he makes it to this. But
Yeah.
then you said something that made me think about what I wanted to say, and that's why I interrupted. I apologize.
Yeah.
And then it went into, but no matter what he did, there was never a congratulations that you made it. It's
Right.
now
Yeah.
you're not going to get this, you have to do this. You're not going
Yeah.
to do this, you have to do that.
It's not good
And-
enough. It's never
Yeah,
good enough.
Just
Never
say
good
that I'm kind of glad that okay, the first two were more politics, and this is
Yeah.
more of like how some people are actually raised, and you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. So far, sorry, I'm looking for my chapstick, guys. So far, this is my favorite one.
I think so.
So,
Yeah.
out of all
I
of
did
them,
enjoy two though. I really did enjoy two, but
Yeah.
I'm digging the different concept on this one.
yeah,
Yeah. I
And
love his storytelling.
Oh God.
Aside from his rapping, his storytelling is like really, really strong.
right.
And I really enjoy that.
It's just a form of how of indoctrination of how
Mhm.
this
That's
is how-
exactly what it is. He's basically been brainwashed to think that it doesn't matter how much success he reaches, there's still another step and you're not it's not good
Yes.
enough. Whatever success you reach is not going to be good enough
Yes.
and you need more,
Yeah.
more.
I feel that sometimes. I feel that sometimes. I'm sure y'all feel that.
No,
sometimes.
yeah, 100%.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
let's go.
Moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. "35, he gets the call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack. I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck. Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly. 43, never running round the pavements of his city. 44, inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck for money and fame. Call the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy. Community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface and consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Wow. I really like that one.
Me too.
Yeah. Ooh, that kind of gave me chills there at the end when he started
give me-
talking, like, or lyrically talking, I guess. Almost like
Poetic.
a spoken word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and people would be wise to like listen to that. You know what I mean? Like, because that's exactly what it comes down to. And I don't know. I guess I'm glad I've never been like a financially driven person. Like, I mean, I want to pay my bills and go on vacation like anybody else, but like I've just never aspired to be wealthy.
Rich, yeah.
You know, I find wealth in different places. I mean, don't get me wrong, money's hella nice. I love going on vacation.
I would say like
You know?
I just want to live comfortably. I don't want to be
Yeah.
filthy rich. I'm rich in other ways, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
money's not everything. But they make it like Ren said, they're pretty much make it seem like if you don't have money, you have nothing. So
Right.
then
No, it's
like
true.
Lacey
Or
said
if you don't have a lot of money, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, if you're not wealthy, if you're not making six figures
And
plus,
like
you know,
like-
then you're not successful, and that's not the measure of success.
and like you said earlier, you said that money is the root to all evil. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just pointed it out. He spelled it all out exactly how evil it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
45 years of life.
yeah, and then it drove to unaliving.
To that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. You
No,
know, I
that-
like what he said. If we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd, if there's no more money for me, then there's no future I see. and that's like so spot on, you know, because I really don't feel like they're teaching kids to be smart anymore, to think for themselves. It's and that's a whole other TED talk.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like he said, this isn't entertainment, this is real life. The way we live is lunacy, and honestly, that's what it feels like these days. And this song is I don't know when this came out. It's
2023, I believe.
oh shit, this was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go then. Proves my point all the
Yeah.
more. You know, and that's exactly kind of what it comes to, is like people are, you know, like I hate that it comes down to that, you know, like if you don't have a degree, you know, that is, nobody said a degree should really honestly matter except for the people that, you know, like I think to be a doctor, you need a degree, to be a nurse, to be a scientist. But like, there's a lot of other jobs and careers out there. Like, you should only go to college if you're going to be something very specific, you know, that you need a much further education. But there's a lot of jobs people can do that don't involve that, you know, but they make it seem like if you don't go to college, you can't have a future. You know, I didn't go to college, and I make more than a lot of people who did go to college and get a degree. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it just matters on your will to work. So you have to have a little bit of it. But you know, what I love that he kind of pointed out was the biggest thing is that, I don't even know how to say it. Like, it's just, if you're not a level of success, if you haven't really, like, it's never good enough. You always have to be reaching for more, and like, you're less than, people see you less than if you don't have those things.
Right.
But in the end, it just pushed him to lose his life. And he said, you know, they said, you stack up all this money, you have a palace, you have all this gold, but now that you've changed your mind about how you see things because you were faced with your own mortality, now those things don't mean shit. What do you have? What's left at the end of the day?
Yeah.
You know, he went from being a kid with like a 150 GPA or you know, IQ to making this money, and you know, being inside the Senate and the council of the president and all these things. It was never good enough. All to end up, you know, moving imports over the borders from the exports out of Cuba, trafficking drugs, you know, like more money, more money, more money, more money. And then, you know, ends up getting shot and all of that. And then he's, you know, prostitutes and doing drugs. And then you end up dying at 45. Like, that's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. This was definitely an interesting one for me. I really did like it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot better than the other two. Not that I didn't like the other two. This is my favorite one.
Yeah. I would say that this one, then two, and then one. You know, that's how I would rate them. You know, this one's my favorite, and then the second one, and then the first one.
Yeah, I'd probably be the same. If doing this, putting them in order.
They were all great though, because I mean, Ren is an amazing storyteller. He keeps me captivated.
No, definitely. And he seems to have a very just open mind. He's very intelligent. And he thinks, well, and I think because he too is like faced his mortality in that sense, being sick and stuff, that I think it that kind of view of like the stuff, like after, you know, you might have had all this stuff, but then you almost died. And then, so like, what's really important now?
Right.
You know, I think it makes you see things differently.
Right.
I agree.
So, yeah, this is good. I'm glad we finally got to them. I was so intrigued to see kind of how things played out between all three of them. And I was definitely not disappointed.
Nope.
No,
me neither.
Not at all.
I like that they're all three different.
I haven't found nothing that Ren's done that I'm not captivated by, like, or like, you know, like I've liked everything that we've listened to.
Yeah, his lyrics are intelligent, and I like that. And it makes me think. That's what I love so much about Tom's music, is that it really makes me think about things deeper than a surface level.
The Money Games really made me think about Tom's song, The System and Brainwashed.
It's very similar in that sense.
Really popped in my head a lot there.
You know what? And only because we brought Tom up, and I'm just wondering because of the comparison, right? Both technically not being from United States. So does that, give them a different, literally like worldview, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
on how they interpret things.
And a
Um,
lot of people like to come at Tom about not being from the United States, but no, that talks a lot about the United States. But that's because he's more intelligent about it than half the people that live here.
right.
He's also an immigrant.
Yeah.
Correct. So
We know how we feel about immigrants, right? We want immigrants to come to the US. You can't use that as an argument anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, and if you want to hear more about that, and if you missed it, go back to Money Games #1, and we have a nice conversation about that. But overall, I really liked the series of the songs. And I'm gonna have to watch them a couple more times because I'm sure I have a lot more thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
I'm not
I didn't have many thoughts when it comes to some of the political aspect of things because I'm still coming in my own when it comes to where I actually stand on certain political things. So,
Right.
and so therefore I'm not as educated as I'd like to be. So therefore I don't speak on it. But I have opinions in general, right? But
Yep.
until I actually research something in depth, I
Yeah.
can't actually give an educated opinion on something. So, but with that said, I think that wraps it up for me when it comes to this particular video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
it
sure
was good.
to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sure y'all have some opinions, and we're here for it. We'll read them.
Yeah.
We might not like it, but we'll read them.
Yep.
And until next time.
Peace out.
Peace.